Cheers, boys. Here's to week 4 of the Sunday's Finest fantasy football season. And got to thank my man Chuck for doing last week's recap. One caveat: let's keep the politics out of fantasy football. You know, I mean, come on, man. So we'll get started right away with the highest scoring game of the week, which was Nate versus Winston. Nate took down the win, 119 to 117, with big points out of Russell Wilson, and he finally decided to stop starting all the Raider Fems. So good for you, Nate. And Winston almost came back and pulled it out with Rossberger putting up 45 points on Sunday Night Football. So good win for Nate. Tough loss for Winston. Here's to it. Next, we'll jump to Craig versus Chuck. Another bad beat. Craig pulled it out 109 to 106, with both of them having running backs. Ezekiel Elliott for Chuck, 22 points. Craig with Isaiah Crowell with 22 points. So it came down to the wire. Craig pulled it out. He's 4-0 now. Chuck, you're 1-3. Gonna have to pick up your game, man. We'll move to Travis versus Joe. Travis took down the win 102 to 65. Not really, I mean, not a lot of highlights out of this one. So not much else to say about that one. So cheers. And move to the high score of the week. Cheers to myself. Beat Minnow 128-76. Cheers again, since beat Minnow twice in one weekend. Nothing sweeter than beating somebody's ass twice in one weekend. Here's to it. Had Julio Jones go off for 41 points, which was sweet. And lastly, we'll move to the most underwhelming game of the week, which was DC versus Mike Miller. DC scored 95. Mike Miller scored 58 whole points. Lowest scoring team of the week. DC's quarterback, Matt Ryan, almost single-handedly outscored Miller's whole team. So when that happens, you know it's a tough week. So good win for DC, tough loss for Miller. So that wraps up week 4. We'll move ahead to week 5 previews. We got Craig taking on Winston. Winston needs a win because Craig's 4-0. Winston's 2-2. Looking like right now, Craig's projected 108 to 99 over Winston. So we'll see. We have Minnow versus Chuck. Chuck needs a win at 1-3. Minnow's 2-2, trying to keep pace. Right now, Minnow's projected to win 90 to 86. We have DC versus Joe. Joe's 1-3, needing a win. DC's 3-1, trying to keep pace with Craig. Right now, DC's projected to win. And then we have Nate versus Travis, the battle of the Raider Fems. Right now, Travis is projected to win 93 to 86. And he only has 8 players in his lineup right now, so that tells you something. And lastly, myself versus Mike Miller. Right now he's projected to win 94-91, but that's why we play the game. So that wraps up the week 4 Sunday's Finest fantasy football recap. Cheers, boys.